When did you realize your child's trauma wasn't over? I thought soccer would fix everything. My son Jake was 9, and after losing his mom in a car crash 6 months earlier, he'd finally started talking about wanting to play again. For weeks, he'd been stuck in this shell, barely eating, having nightmares, refusing to ride in the front seat. But when he asked about soccer, I nearly cried with relief. Maybe my little boy was coming back. The first practice went great. Jake ran around with the other kids, kicked the ball, even smiled when he scored. I sat in my folding chair thinking we'd turned a corner, finally. The coach was this patient guy named Rick, who knew about Jake's situation. He kept things light, made sure Jake felt included. 3 weeks in, they had their first real game. I got there early, brought snacks, wore Jake's jersey number on my shirt like an idiot. Jake looked nervous but excited as he warmed up with his team. The other parents were chatting about weekend plans and summer camps. Normal parent stuff I'd forgotten how to do. The game started fine. Jake played midfield, stayed close to his teammates. Then in the second quarter, the opposing team got aggressive. This one kid, bigger than everyone else, started pushing and shoving. The ref wasn't calling much. Jake had the ball and was dribbling toward the goal when this kid came charging at him, yelling something about stealing it. Jake froze. Completely froze. The ball rolled away, but Jake just stood there like a statue. Then the other kid accidentally bumped into him while chasing the ball. Not hard, just normal soccer contact. But Jake dropped to the ground and started screaming. Not crying, screaming, like someone was hurting him. He curled up in a ball, covering his head with his hands, yelling, "No, no, no, make it stop!" Over and over. The entire field went silent. Kids stopped playing. Parents stood up. Jake was shaking so hard I could see it from the sidelines. I ran onto the field, but when I tried to touch him, he flinched away. "Don't let them hit me," he kept saying. "I don't want to go to the hospital again." The other parents were staring. Some kids looked scared. Jake's teammates didn't understand why their friend was acting like this. It took 20 minutes to calm him down. 20 minutes of me sitting on that field, holding my son while he sobbed and begged me to promise we wouldn't drive home on the highway. He made me swear we'd take back roads only. When I asked why, he whispered that the kid running at him sounded just like the screeching tires before the truck hit our car. That's when it hit me. Jake hadn't been getting better. He'd been pretending to be better because he thought that's what I needed. All those nights I thought he was sleeping peacefully, he'd actually been lying awake, scared to close his eyes. All those car rides where he seemed fine, he'd been gripping his seatbelt and counting intersections. The drive home was torture. Jake insisted on the longest possible route, avoiding any street with more than 2 lanes. He made me promise to stop at every yellow light. When we finally got home, he ran straight to his room and slammed the door. I called his pediatrician that night and got the name of a child trauma specialist. Jake didn't want to go. He said talking about the accident would make it happen again. It took 3 weeks to convince him, and even then, he only agreed after I promised I'd go to therapy too. The therapist explained that trauma doesn't follow timelines. Kids can seem fine for months, then fall apart over something tiny. Jake had been watching me struggle and decided his job was to be the strong one. 9 years old, and he thought he needed to take care of me.